What is up, YouTube? It is Baseball Nerd back with another MLB video. Today's video is just going to be an Angels fan reacting to the Angels offseason. And I didn't really want to do videos like this coming into this because I don't want to make this an Angels baseball channel. I want it to be all baseball all the time. So if you don't like this video that much or you don't care to watch it, totally fine. If you don't want to see the insight from an Angels fan point of view, or at least specifically my point of view, don't feel bad. But I wanted to make this just because I've been talking a lot with friends and family and thinking a lot about the Angels offseason. And obviously I follow all of baseball, but I spend a little more time looking into the Angels moves and potential things that I want them to do, or rumors or things like that. So I pay more attention to them, so I feel a little more educated on their offseason and what they need or what they are looking for and what they're going to do, hopefully, as opposed to some other teams. So I wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about it. For one, get some of it off my chest, and for two, just to talk about it with you guys. So we'll get right into the video. And my first thing I want to say is the moves we've already made, which are Jose Iglesias, Rafael Iglesias, and picking up Kurt Suzuki behind the plate and Jose Quintana. And all those moves I am okay with. I will say this, our bullpen wasn't as bad as I thought last year, so I do like Rafael Iglesias a lot, and I think he will help out the back end of the bullpen. My only question there is if Perry and Artie are looking at him as our closer, our ninth inning guy to shut out the games, or if they're looking at him as a setup guy, and we're hoping to get another reliever to be our closer, like a Brad Hand or Alex Colomé or one of those guys. I know Liam Hendricks is gone now. Off the board. So I'm wondering if that's their idea there, or if he is now our closer, or what's going to happen there. And then Jose Iglesias, I like that move a lot. I think he'll help at short and be fine there. Obviously, I was hoping for Didi, which would probably cost a little more, but to get a left-handed bat in our lineup, because we are pretty righty-heavy. If you look at it, Upton, Trout, Rendon, Fletcher, Pujols, and Kurt Suzuki, Max Stassi. So we have Jared Walsh, and then we lost Brian Goodwin and Tommy La Stella last year in trades. So we don't really have many lefties. We have Ohtani, so I was hoping for a lefty there, but Jose Iglesias, I like him. I think he'll be a very good hitter, and I don't think he will hurt us defensively. Who else do we get? Kurt Suzuki. I was wondering what they're going to do with the catcher, because I had seen us linked to maybe making a trade for Wilson Contreras, or I saw us mentioned one time with JT Realmuto. I didn't really think that was going to happen. I saw us linked to other catchers in the beginning of the offseason, maybe James McCann or something like that. So I am happy that we got Kurt Suzuki. Looking at Kurt Suzuki, though, picking him up, I'm okay with that. I think we didn't give him very much money, so I don't think it will hurt us in the long run. I was kind of thinking that we were going to be fine with Stassi behind the plate, and that was going to be all right, because he hit pretty good last year, and he was okay behind the plate. So maybe Kurt comes in to help coach him up a bit, and also maybe help our pitching staff out a little bit, and just bring a little more veteran leadership, a guy that's been to the playoffs and the World Series and stuff like that. So I'm okay with the Kurt Suzuki signing. And then Jose Quintana, and this one, it depends. The future kind of holds my opinion on this one. If we still go out and get another starting pitcher and some other moves, then I'm okay with this move. But if this was our last signing of the offseason, then I will be somewhat disappointed, because I do not think this will be enough to really propel us into the playoffs. It doesn't, thing is, when I look at some of these other teams, they lost some big players. Like, just looking in our own division, the A's have lost Marcus Semien, Liam Hendricks, Yosmero Petit. The Astros lost George Springer. I mean, Verlander won't be back right away. Stuff like that. So there's teams, the two teams that are above us in our division, didn't really, they lost people and they didn't get everybody back. The Astros got Brantley back so far, and I think they've made a couple bullpen moves, but they're not, getting better necessarily off of last year, because I think losing Springer hurts a lot, and they're not looking like they're replacing him with anybody that's not already in their system. So I feel like this is a good chance for the Angels to maybe take a good chance and jump up and try to take over the AL West. And obviously you have to do some big moves to do that, but I think that's what we need to do. So that's why if Jose Quintana was the last move of this offseason, I'd be very sad, because we've kind of given out 1-year deals to guys that have had success at different points in their careers, like Trevor Cahill, Matt Harvey, last year with Julio Teheran, stuff like that. So I don't really want to do that again. I don't also, though, want to tie up a bunch of money in someone that's too expensive and go too high just to sign a big name, to not compete. You have to have a balance of guys on your team. You can't just have, every guy on your team can't be worth $200 million because you'd run out of money fast. So I got to go now into what I want the Angels to do from this point moving forward. And I have a couple ways that I would be okay with it going. Number one, I do think we need a frontline starter. I think we need an ace, a guy to not only lead our staff and help our staff on the field, but off the field, helping out younger guys, bringing in innovation, stuff like that. And I've also thought the Angels have lacked, a guy that's super competitive and wears his heart on his sleeve. Trout's a pretty calm, cool, collected guy. Rendon literally looks like he has no heartbeat at the plate, at third, anywhere. Pujols is a really nice, respectable, veteran Hall of Famer. There's a lot of guys on our team just seem very calm, cool, and collected. No one has that, not saying that no one has that dog mentality or competitive. They're obviously all competitive, but we're just lacking like that frontline starter. And even the reason I'm saying this guy specifically is because I feel like he brings that competitive edge of wanting, to push everyone harder and push himself further and gain knowledge and all that to win. And that's Trevor Bauer. I really, really still hope we get Trevor Bauer for all the reasons off the field, on the field, as a person, and just what he brings to a ball club with his actual pitching. And looking at the Angels in the past, when's the last time we've signed a frontline starter? The last guy I could think about that we didn't trade for, that we actually signed in an offseason that had a good year with us was Bartolo Colon, and he was really inconsistent with the years he's with us. I think we signed him in 2004, and he won the Cy Young. And when did he win the Cy Young? 2005? Yeah, 2005 he won the Cy Young for us, which was the first time since 1964 the Angels had a pitcher win the Cy Young. And then he, was very inconsistent the next 3 or 4 years, and then he left. So Bartolo Colon wasn't even, winning a Cy Young with your team, that's a pretty good, signing, but the other years he wasn't as consistent. And I feel like Trevor Bauer, if he doesn't even win a Cy Young for us, will be, pretty consistently top 15 pitchers in the league while he's with us, if he's with us for 5 or 6 years. That's just my opinion, and I think we need a guy like that, especially if you want to get to the playoffs, if that's your goal. When you get there, you have to have a guy to go against the other team's starter, the other team's ace. And we've seen that in all these playoffs, all the teams that have won. The Nationals, really looking at their lineup when they won the World Series a couple of years ago, it was Juan Soto, Rendon, Trey Turner. And then, Zimmerman had a couple good hits here and there. Howie Kendrick, a couple good hits here and there. A couple good hits from the catching spot. Adam Eaton, a couple nice, clutch knocks. But really, they were a scrappy offensive team, and they had really shut down good starting pitching. Steven Strasburg had his, healthiest, best year of his career that far, and Max Scherzer did Max Scherzer stuff, and Patrick Corbin came in. So I feel like that's what we need. We need a guy to go up against a Garrett Cole in a playoff game. We need a guy to go up against a Jacob deGrom in game 1, stuff like that. So I think that's why we need Bauer. But I'm already prepared for the disappointment and the letdown if we do not get Bauer. If we do not get Bauer, I do think we have to make multiple moves. I think we have to get another bullpen piece to be our closer, and or to be another setup guy, whatever happens there. But a guy that's more prominent in the bullpen, not a guy that's going to come in the 6th or 5th inning and pitch 2 innings. And I think a guy like Brad Hand would be perfect for that. I've seen that he's getting close to signing, supposedly through the rumors, soon. And I've seen the Mets and Blue Jays linked to him and stuff like that. I hope we come out with him if we're not getting Bauer, or even if we are and they're really going to surprise me and make me go crazy. We got Bauer and Hand. That'd be insane. But Alex Colomé, Trevor Rosenthal, Shane Green, Yosmero Petit, all those guys would be guys I'd be cool if they picked up one of those guys on a not super long deal. And if they did that, I'd want to obviously get another starter, because if Ohtani comes back and has a decent season on the mound and can pitch and is healthy and throws well, then we still would need, a 6-man rotation. And so I think, Tanaka, I've heard if he's not going back to the Yankees, which with all the moves they're making, it looks like he's not, then he'll probably go back to Japan. But if not, I think it'd be cool to get Tanaka, James Paxton, Odorizzi, or even Chris Archer. I think any of those guys, could help and have some kind of, upside to them. But they're more like things we've seen in the past. They're not guys that have been, insanely consistent. James Paxton's been pretty good, and Tanaka. Odorizzi with his health, Archer, same thing, different, ups and downs. And I know all pitchers and players have ups and downs. I'm just saying I feel like we need that guy that doesn't have them or has them, less than other pitchers. And then lastly, kind of looking at as free agents, we've heard that Joe Adell will not be starting the year in right field for us, so we need a right fielder because Brian Goodwin is gone. If Joe Adell's gone, then we kind of, I don't want Taylor Ward playing the outfield. He had a couple, big, no-brain mistakes last year in the outfield, and I don't dislike Taylor Ward. I just think we need a real outfielder. And so if we weren't going to get Bauer, then, we're spending less money. We're spreading that out. I think it would be nice to sign a one-year deal for a right fielder. Also, though, that's the thing is it's hard to tell because I don't know what Perry and Artie are planning. So if they're planning on, Adell isn't starting in majors, but, Adell and Marsh are both very close to getting called up, and they will get called up this year at some point, then maybe we don't need to do that and we can use Taylor Ward for the first couple months or something. I don't know what their plan is, but if they don't, there's still Jock Peterson out there. There's still Brett Gardner. Eddie Rosario could even play the outfield for us. Not a big on-base percentage guy, but can definitely has some nice pop, and he's a lefty bat. And then Yasiel Puig. I like the three guys I mentioned first because they are lefties, and like I said, we don't have a lot of lefties, so I think it'd be nice to pick up one. And but if not, though, I really like Puig because, like I said earlier, I think the Angels sometimes lack that competitive edge, a guy that, likes to chirp a little more, likes to bat flip, likes to, show off and do that stuff. Because I think that, not only does that hype me up as a fan because I feel like we lack that, but it also hypes the team up and, makes us more competitive. It was not a very good time in Angels baseball when this happened, but when Jake Marisnick ran into Jonathan Lucroy and took him out for a while, and then they came back to the Big A, and Noe Ramirez hit him with a ball, and then Pujols was chirping with their dugout, and then he walked over there, and then they came out, and then that whole thing happened. Or back RIP when Ventura from the Royals, him and Trout had that whole thing at home plate and stuff. That kind of stuff, I don't want to see necessarily our guys getting fights or anything, but seeing that competitive edge and seeing, the little mano-a-mano and you bat flips and all that kind of stuff, I want to see more of that exciting stuff out of us because I feel like we have very reserved and just like cool, chill guys, and that's awesome. But, sometimes you want to see that competitiveness and that stuff come out in them and know that they really want to win and that they really want to compete and they'll do whatever it takes, and, that's what they're there for. So I think, Puig would bring that to our team as much as it would be another righty bat. I think that'd be really cool to see. If not, I hope Adell and Marsh come up soon or get a chance soon because I think they've both, earned it. I know Adell didn't have a great year last year, but it was his first year up. It was a short season. It's COVID season. There's a lot going on there to make it harder for him, but he did make some good, leaps defensively, I think, and I think the bat will still come. And then Marsh, I really want to see him up at the major league level. Last, I'm going to throw a couple trades out here that I think would be cool and could benefit us too in a couple ways. First, I've seen the Cubs kind of giving up, not giving up, but giving up players. And I think Kyle Hendricks would be a really nice target to go after, starting pitcher-wise. And obviously, all of these extra moves I'm talking about, if Bauer gets, if we sign Bauer and then something else like this happens, then that would be awesome. But this is more of something I'm hoping like, if we don't sign Bauer, maybe, sign Puig and, maybe Alex Colomé and then do this trade for Kyle Hendricks with the Cubs. And even if we did do that, you could potentially get Jason Hayward in there too. Not my favorite player, a little older, but also, he could fill in right field for a while if Adell and Marsh still are close to getting that call up. And then another one, the Reds. I've seen a lot of stuff back and forth. They're dealing players. They're saying they're done dealing players. We're not going to get rid of everybody. So I don't know what their plan is. That kind of confuses me with teams. If you're going to trade off your teams and rebuild, why not trade off everything that's worth something and get as many high prospects as you can? But maybe that's stupid. I don't know. Maybe they still want to compete somewhat because that NL Central is pretty wide open. So Luis Castillo or Sonny Gray I'd be happy with. I'd personally rather have Luis Castillo because he's a little cheaper and I think he has more years of control and I just like him a little more, but I do like Sonny Gray too. I think he only has 2 years and he's a little more expensive, but I'd be okay with either one of them, and those guys could potentially be real aces. If we do make a trade, I would be cool with either one of them. If we didn't get Bauer, I think that would make me feel a lot better going into this season. And this one would obviously cost a lot more to get one of these guys and Nick Castellanos, but you could get him if they are dealing as many players as they can for prospects and fill in right field. So that's another move. Like I said, it's hard to predict this stuff not knowing how Perry and Artie are planning other moves, because if you're planning out other moves in other positions, it is hard to make some of these moves now. So I do understand that, but I really hope, we've seen these little moves out of the Angels, so I'm waiting for the big one. I'm waiting for something big to happen. Maybe it won't happen and I will be disappointed again, but I just really want to see Trout in the playoffs and want to see us in the playoffs and give us that chance, even if it's just winning the division would be awesome, or however we can get in, and then just seeing what they can do there. We don't need to go out and win a World Series this year. Obviously I would love that, but if we could just get to the playoffs and see what the Angels can do. You never know, teams can make it into the playoffs. Like in 2019 the Nationals, I don't think they were the favorites, but they make it there and they put on a historic run, and everybody plays to their best capabilities, and some guys from other teams have get into slumps or aren't doing their best on the mound. So if we can get there and everyone turns it on at the right time, you never know what can happen. So just got to get us there, and that's kind of my point of view as an Angels fan. And like I said, I don't want to do a lot of these videos just focusing on the Angels. Maybe I'll do a couple, maybe not as Dodger fans or Yankee fans or something like that, but kind of giving reviews of how I would potentially feel as a fan of that team. So let me know if you want to see some of those, or what team you'd want to see me kind of go through and what I think they could do or should do and how I feel about the moves they already made. And yeah, guys, that's it for this one. So I'll see you guys on the next one.